Happy
Good
Monday.
morning.
How's
Good
everyone
morning.
doing?
Happy Monday.
Doing great. Thank
Good.
you.
Excellent. Good to see y'all. It's good to see you, Jane.
Nice to see
All right.
you.
Brett is not here today. He is traveling, so he's going to try to call in, but probably won't make it. So, um, there he is.
Ah.
Excellent. Okay, so Brett is here in case we need to reach out to him. I think Rick is coming on, but we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to share screen so we can start looking at stats. Okay. So let's see. So first we've got Fulton County, and looks like actives dipped a little bit down to 1,004. If you look at the couple weeks before that, there was a real low number, then a real high number. We landed somewhere in the middle last week. Active under contracts about the same at 146. Coming soon's about the same, 41. Pendings 270. That's pretty consistent with last week. Holds 19, fewer than the previous week, which is good. Same number of withdrawals, 127. Fewer expireds, 57. That's good news. And then closed, 289, down from 323. But again, there's a low week, a high week, and we landed somewhere in the middle. So it's obviously not the last week of the month, and it's not the 15th, which is when we tend to see bumps in closing. So that's probably has something to do with it. Let's take a look at DeKalb County and see where we're at with DeKalb. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so for DeKalb, we landed at 559 active. So again, in between the low weekend of the 8th and the high week of last week. 91 under contracts, 26 coming soons, 156 pending. So that's slightly up, but still sort of landed in the middle. 6 on hold, that's down as well, which is good. Withdrawals, 65, pretty consistent. 40 expireds, a little bit more than last week, but definitely down from 2 weeks ago. And then 176 closed, same as the previous week. So the market has been pretty consistent for the past couple of weeks. So that's good to see. A lot of it has to do with when they actually report these numbers too. So let's see. And then let's look at Cobb real quick. All right. So we've got Cobb County, 570. Again, we landed for actives, we landed in between the low week on the 8th and the high week on the 15th. 90 active under contract, so pretty consistent. 23 coming soons. Again, pretty consistent with the last couple of weeks. Pendings, 182, again, right in the middle there. Hold, 7, so holds are down across the board. Withdrawals are 53, down from, or up from 46 rather. Expireds, 21, so sort of closer to last week than the week before. And then close at 240, up from last week and way up from the few weeks before that. So things are closing, lots on the market. So inventory is definitely growing. Let's see. Hey, Rick Hale.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm awesome, thank you.
Any thoughts on what the market's doing these days?
Well, the expireds obviously are something to keep an eye on because that's an indication of missed opportunities and the market correcting. And, you won't see that usually till the end of the month. And it's funny, I was reminded of a strategy in hearing you espouse the numbers, that I used to have all my listings expire on the same day. So no matter if it was 180 days, I wouldn't just do 180, count the days. I would have all of them on the 15th of each month. And for two reasons. One, I found that early in my career, when I had lots of listings, when they expired the end of the month, I was busy and distracted and sometimes wouldn't reset them quick enough. And, they hit the expired list and a million agents are dying
Your
for
clients
business,
got
start
bombarded.
calling my clients. And so what I figured out, if I do the 15th every month, I knew exactly I need to check on the 12th or 13th for those vital conversations around renewal and extension and recalibrating value and pricing. And so just a pro tip, that really worked for me because I didn't have to keep track of a big spreadsheet of expireds.
Yeah. And I think what I'm hearing is there was a system.
There was a system.
I love it. I love
And I
it.
didn't have to think a lot because I knew the 15th was my day to double check my expireds.
Right. And you knew you'd be busy at the end of the month, so you could block time around the 15th every month to do that.
Exactly right.
It's
And
awesome.
I would roll, like I said, 180 days, or if you do 90-day listings, and then I would just roll it up another however many days it took to get to the 15th. So it was a few more days than 90 or 180,
Love that.
which is not a bad idea either.
Yeah. Yeah. And we know that if they hit expired and you don't renew right away, your clients are going to be bombarded. So definitely
Oh,
being
they're going to get
proactive
hammered.
with managing those expiration dates is key.
Yeah. And if you're not hammering expired listings, and preferably not your next door neighbor and in your office and company, but it's a little stickier, but still there's opportunity out there.
Absolutely. And that opportunity is just growing as people continue to overprice properties for this market and they sit.
You got it.
All right, cool. So we'll go to some of these articles here that we looked at. This one is 7 things that are a complete waste of time, but agents still do them. Um, the first one is consuming content instead of creating it. Have you ever gotten lost in a doom scroll, Rick?
Probably so. Yes. Clickbait does work on human. It's a human thing.
Exactly. So I think that's, being intentional about how you consume social media and using most of your time on social media to be proactive with it, whether it's looking through your clients' information to get specific information for people you're about to call, or um, posting your own content. So just being intentional, I guess, about how you consume content is a great way to avoid that.
Yeah. And make sure when you're consuming content that it's for productive use and that you can repurpose that content. So that's no longer a waste of time if it's positive and productive or helpful to your initiative.
Absolutely. Yeah. If it's educational and you're getting something from it that you can use in your business, more power to you. But if it's mindless doom scrolling, probably not the best use of your time. Number two, being busy instead of being productive. Um, I think we all know what this is like. We've been in places where we were getting a lot of things done, but they may not have necessarily been dollar productive activities. They're more fillers, and which is always great, but it's important to remind yourself what activities bring in revenue and which ones are just kind of time killers and administrative that you could be leveraging.
Well, and every morning before you launch your day, take a hard look at your day planner and confirm what falls into the 20 versus the 80%, just has to be done, but not necessarily moving the needle for your success and your financial reward, and prioritize accordingly.
For sure. In that morning, you have that energy to be able to kind of power through and get through your most difficult things so that you can not have to expend as much energy later on.
There you go.
Perfect. Number three, doing tasks instead of delegating. This is not using leverage where it makes sense, and you're doing low dollar cost per hour activities when you could be leveraging those and putting yourself in a high dollar earning per hour position. Number four, perfecting a logo instead of having real estate related conversations. I see this all the time. People spend so much time worrying about logos and websites versus actually talking to people. Um, have you ever known anyone to do that?
Often. Yeah, the ready, aim, 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 maybe fire, aim, aim. The people that win in our business in all markets are the ones that fire a lot and then course correct based on what they hit or don't hit. But they're
That's
firing.
been my biggest learning through the years is that I think Mark King put it that imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. And it's taking action on the activities that make a difference in your business, which is lead generation, right?
That's it.
Relationship building.
Building
Number
your
five, being
database.
reactive instead of being proactive. How much are you waiting for the phone to ring versus how much are you making your wallet sing? Number six, focusing on quantity instead of quality on social media posts. Um, I had a conversation with one of our agents about this recently. She's getting a ton of business off of social media and she's got 600 followers. And she said, I always thought I would need 10,000 to get effective business. But what I've learned is the business comes from engagement. So she has a strategy around engaging people whenever she follows someone, whenever they follow her, when someone reaches out to her, she has a plan. And I think that quality engagement makes a difference.
Mark, can I add to that, please?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like so, social media is really a large part of my strategy, and I went
Mm.
to like a class of at last family reunion, and one of the main points is with social media, the teacher said basically get social on social media, like get active, like actually engage, and I
Absolutely.
took that, and especially when it comes to posting and getting people to engage, I make it a point that when people engage on my post, I immediately go to their DMs because I know they're online because you just posted 20 seconds ago. And
Right.
so using that to get into conversation and essentially using the forward script in the direct messages to, stay in touch or to get that person from social media on the phone to a consultation. So I think that's really important to make sure, for all of us to get social on social media.
I love that, Hubert. You're absolutely right. The other thing that this agent told me was with social media, when she follows someone and they follow her back, she has a standard thing she posts in their DMs, and it's just a cut and paste for her, but it's authentic, and it says, "Hey, thanks for following me and my account, and thanks for supporting me in my small business. Do you have a small business I can help support?" And she starts a conversation right there from a place of value, which I think is amazing. And that's a great way to engage people. And she's had a lot of success with that.
That's great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
constantly think what's in it for them. And, people love helping people that help them. So back to your value and contribution statement, that was brilliant. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Herbert. Hubert.
Um, Spending time with unproductive people. I think that's um, this is something we always talk about, saying that you're the sum of the five people you spend the most time with. It really does make a difference. If I had a conversation with an agent last week that was having this challenge, he's realized that the people in his immediate friend group are very negative, and it pulls him down. So he's going to start being more intentional about seeking other people out to be around that inspire him, that are at a level he wants to be at, so he can raise his game instead of being pulled down by the people around him and constantly trying to pull them up to his level.
Yep. Stop watering the weeds.
Stop watering the weeds. Any other thoughts about that, Rick?
That was it. Stop watering
It's
the weeds.
perfect.
Well,
It's
just be
perfect.
cautious in where you invest your time and where you get energy, and also be aware of where you give energy. Is
Yep,
there reciprocity and relational boosting that's going on? And if not, at least mitigate some of it and focus on the important parts of what is working earlier in the day and earlier in the week, and then watch the magic.
yeah. And if you've never taken the time to be intentional about that and you make that change, you'll be amazed at how different your attitude is when you're around people who lift you up versus people that you're trying to drag with you and bring to a higher level.
Well, the way you think changes when you're around high-minded, smart people who are motivating and motivated. Uh, Your entire DNA shifts in the conversation. We've all seen it and experienced it. So how often can you have that experience versus one that again is just energy vampires or people that just don't add value? You can love them from
Absolutely.
afar.
I love it. Uh, this next article, nearly 30% of Metro Atlanta homes saw price cuts in June. Um, I don't know about you, Rick. This wasn't a surprise to me. If you look at the stats every week and every month and every quarter, this is about how it's been. And in some price ranges a little bit higher than 30%. So this to me wasn't very surprising. Any thoughts on this article?
It's in the data. They're just reciting what we already know. I mean,
Yep.
to our credit and to Brett's credit, the big event we just had at the Cobb movie theater, it was black and white. And I don't know that that's going to go down because buyer demand hasn't shifted, but inventory is shifting. And so there's now going to be a disproportionate number of homes available versus those that sell. And to me, it gives you more credibility and potential to be a better consultant with your seller clients to make sure that they understand that not everybody wins. And here's what the winner circle looks like. And more importantly, what does the winner circle look like relative to your needs and wants? And then what's your value that creates a direct path to that?
Absolutely. My other takeaway from that is just we have to be experts on the market of today. And that's constantly changing. And as we go into the fall, it's likely that those days on market are going to tick up and that inventory is going to tick up. So continuing to be aware of how to handle today's market versus yesterday's market because it is changing and we constantly have to stay on top of our stuff. So if you know the stats every week and you know what's going on, so the people in this on this call in particular, you guys are doing great because you're staying in touch with what's happening. That's the best thing you can be doing right now is know your market.
Yeah. And one more thing that just popped into my head from our conversation this past week. And Brett made the statement that it's a tale of two markets. And I think he's spot on because you can't just universally blanket every micro market with this data. It's a
Right.
local service business driven by your, influence as well as that the dynamics of street to street. And the tale of two markets statement was relative to the fact that the top 30% are selling in minutes and hours and days. It's still like the competition for the better listings that are better priced and positioned. Don't just tell your clients, oh, there's 30%, now we're moving towards a balanced market between buyers and sellers. We are in some cases, but it depends. And that certain houses are selling in hours, which is about a third, and then a third are starting to show up as failures. And the middle third are either course correcting or will fall prey to the lesser third, which is an expired, withdrawn, or redo.
Completely agree. I think it's more important than ever now to be pricing against not only solds and pendings, but looking at actives because it doesn't matter what sold a month or two ago. It's what is it doing today? And you need to be priced competitively with what else is on the market in a given price range in a given area. And what else are buyers in that price range in that area looking at? So that you can know that if there's only four being sold every month, in that price range in that area, then you need to be one of the top two probably to make sure that yours gets sold in the first 30 days.
That's it.
All right, cool. Next one. Georgia captures largest share of home sales to international buyers in years, says report. So this is, I think, great news that more and more people are seeing Georgia and Atlanta, Metro Atlanta in particular, as a top destination to buy in. And I think it's only going to get better with the World Cup coming in a couple of years. I know after the 96 Olympics. In fact, one of the reasons I moved to Atlanta in 92 was because the Olympics were going to be here. And I had a feeling that when the world comes to a city, there's a lot of people that fall in love with it or become intrigued with it. So it spurs growth. And I think we're going to see the same thing over the next couple of years, and it's already happening. Thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I just spent a week in Canada. If anyone out there, if you've not been to Vancouver and Victoria, which is the capital of British Columbia, it's an island right off the coast. It's in a beautiful place. But the real story is that while there, our dollar is like $1.30 to theirs. So we have buying power. So it's interesting to me that we're still strong relative to the rest of the world. And some feedback I was getting from Canadians was you're so lucky to come here and get a value and a discount. And so just world economics is a fascinating conversation in itself. And obviously, if we're leading the charge and improving, because only a couple of years ago, I think it went from 2 to 4% over the last year. So it's fascinating. It would be another level of question you should be asking is, okay, they're buying. The better question might be where and why, so that you
Right.
can then reverse engineer or target market potential, advocates for that in your database.
Right. Where, why, and where are they coming from?
Exactly. And yeah, so shotgunning probably doesn't work as on an international stage as well as sniping.
Agreed. I
There's
love that.
just so many people out there. I don't know how you necessarily shotgun the entire international world, but make sure that your story aligns with reality and that your target audience will resonate with where and why, like you said.
I love it. Perfect. Last one, housing inventory is climbing back. So why are leads still lagging? I saw this article and the question is like, why are there not more buyers jumping in and more leads being created? And I think we just need to do a better job of staying in touch with our database and understanding what life events are going on in those markets because it's still a life event driven market. Um, the D's. One of my agents told me last week that he had a new D for me, a deportation. He had a client whose work visa had expired and they had to sell their property. So, add that to the list of D's and life events that happen, along
Death
with
and
Vipers,
what are
death,
the
and
D's?
diamonds.
Death, divorce.
Yeah.
I can't think of other
Diapers,
D's.
diplomas,
Yeah. Vipers,
Diplomas. There you
diplomas.
go.
Diapers is
diapers.
a big one. I mean, I don't see anything that makes people move more than having their first kid or having a second kid. Just because the amount of stuff that gets added to your world when you have a child. One of my agents told me that he has two small kids, and he said with each child comes about 400 square feet of stuff. So that's his formula. So I thought that was interesting. But every time you add another child to that equation, it quickly fills up with stuff. So those people need um, more space. So when you find someone who's doing a gender reveal or announcing a pregnancy, start talking to them about their space.
Well, Hubert and Katie nailed it. Diamonds, diapers, diplomas, deployments, death, and divorce. So thank you guys. And here's the thing, back to my statement earlier, sniping works way better than just shotgunning where people aren't sure what your message or your superpower is. And I'm reminded of an agent years back that had a marketing campaign called Bricks for Brides. And I thought it was brilliant because it was very specific and it wasn't the only thing he did, but it was one angle or avenue for his marketing, sniping, if you will, snipe shooting. And it was about helping first-time home buyers who are newly married or were going to become newly married. So it becomes an easier ask for even inside your database. Who do you know that I should know that's on the verge of making a big decision in marriage? And that's just a fun question, and everybody knows somebody. And so the more specific the question, the more specific the response and more actionable it becomes.
Absolutely. I have a couple of agents that are also targeting the downsizing slash almost death, the assisted living world where adult kids need to get their parent into a assisted living facility and then they're left with the house and 40 years worth of stuff. So they're creating packages to market to people and say, look, this is a service we offer. We offer junk removal, donation services, cleaning, painting, renovations, floors. We get everything out of the house, we get it ready, and we help you sell it,
Exactly.
including estate sales and all of that.
And Jane Lomas has absolutely mastered the element of intrigue with her new headshot. Her kitty cat. I'm like, who is the masked woman?
I
Too
love it.
adorable.
I love it. I see Matt Pitts on here. Matt, you're always good for a couple of thoughts. What do you see happening in the market right now?
I thought you guys did a great job. I would say that, I know they were posted in Circle, and I saw a stat this morning that 70% of people are visual learners. And some of the stats that you guys went over and the great conversation was impactful, but many times you have to show people some of these scenarios. So I know there's a great one in there about buying now versus buying 2 years. There's different population growth trajectories that are shown. Are we visually showing people some of these stats with 70% needing to see it visually to understand? So that would just be something I'd add in. I think we went over stuff today. How can we articulate that and show that visually so we can, one, market social media, but two, better help people understand they're making the right decision?
That's a great point. Those slides are gold, and those are sales tools for you. So take advantage of the fact that Brett and Luke and everyone puts a lot of time into those, get some really great data, and helps you tell the story. So use those tools to help share that story with your clients.
Brilliant. I see Manny as well. What you got, my man?
What's up, Manny?
Hey y'all, what's up? Amazing info. I actually it intrigued me here as we were talking about, staying in the know and all of this. Like, don't forget about the intentionality of helping your fellow agents in the industry. There's a lot going on right now. We're working harder than ever. We are busy, but I think everyone's starting to kind of get a little stressed as we're seeing these new changes happen. This is a way to help yourself and your downline. So don't forget, you can help your industry, help these agents that are not getting the education. And don't forget, you can invite them to your team meeting, and that just might be a person in your profit share line. So keep that in mind. Intentionality.
Intentionality, absolutely, in all things. I love that. And we're actually spending time talking to people who are winning in today's market. So like tomorrow, we have a panel of 3 different agents who are at least 2 million in the past 12 months above where they were the previous 12 months. And we're going to be talking to them about the intentional things they're doing with their business to get there. So in a year where we're seeing a lot of people not hitting their numbers from last year, we're really highlighting what people are doing that is working and that are winning in this market. So
Yeah, we have
stay
our
tuned with
amazing
that.
brokers. We have a class coming up on Wednesday that Angie Meza Smith is doing too. So don't forget, we got those Hogue resources.
Love it. Thanks, Manny. Any questions or final thoughts? We've got about 4 minutes left, and we've gone through the information we want to present. So this is your opportunity to ask questions. We've got Rick Hale here, who's an encyclopedia of real estate knowledge. So let's take advantage of it. Who has a question?
Hey, I have
Hey.
a question, please. I would love to know how the data and the charts that we present every week it's coming because every time I'm trying on FMLS, I got totally different numbers. So I want to figure out what I'm doing wrong.
Well, I think it's those numbers change as more people report. So for example, if you pulled out that data this morning, it may have, let's say, 65 under contracts last week. But then throughout today and tomorrow, people are going to be reporting that they went under contract on Saturday, Friday, Thursday. So those numbers will constantly change. So it's hard because we're pulling it from a point in time. We do the same time every week, so we can have consistent data in our world, but those numbers are really hard to replicate because they're constantly changing each one of those categories. Does that make sense?
And the better agents probably update their numbers quickly and efficiently and have support staff or somebody to do it for them. And I'm absolutely certain the lagging reality is that the bottom third of our industry only reports the day they have to turn it in to get a closing check.
Exactly. Great question. Any other questions? Brett, did you want to share anything? Is he still on?
That's a fancy red seatbelt, brother.
I'm here, but I just want to say thank you to you guys because it's fun for me sometimes to sit back and watch y'all go. So great job. You hit all the big points that I would have added, which was the expired listings are going to become a bigger deal in the next 90 days. And man, great job.
All right. Well, travel safely, and everyone will give you the last 2 minutes back in your day. Enjoy your day and go out there and sell something.
Thank y'all.
See ya.
Great job.
Thanks, Mark.